So Dr. Bazzan, please tell us about some of those supplements. I think you sent me an email today about vitamin D. You had a few studies in there. Is that one of your favorites?
It is. So suppose now that you do that and you go to a nice healthy diet. Yeah, 3/4 of a plate is good quality vegetarian food. You have some good quality protein, lean, not inflammatory, not processed food, not sugar. Are you home? Almost. It is clear now. I've tested vitamin D levels in people close to 20 years now. And the story is always the same. Everybody's deficient. One of the things that we found out about 5 years ago is that vitamin D deficiency starts leaky gut. And for the people that don't know what leaky gut is when you are inside the intestinal tract and the food that is there has to cross the wall into the bloodstream that takes you to the liver. Now that wall has very strict rules about who can come in and how. If you start punching holes and renting tears on that wall, things get in that are not welcome. And that starts a war with the liver, which is understood as a nice factory, but it is also an aircraft carrier. And you don't want to go to battle with that, because then you start getting all the antibodies that will blow up your joints and destroy your nerves and all that. So going back to why we recommend vitamin D is that most of the time, maybe twice a year, I find a good level of vitamin D on a patient that doesn't take it. I said, why 2 people in a year? And if you
what's the denominator? How many patients are you seeing? You've got 2 that have a good vitamin D level out of how many?
3.
It's a big number, I would say.
Thousands.
I see a lot of patients, yeah. And this is over 20 years. So it made a big impression. And so fast forward that to COVID, I sent you the literature today because it's starting to be pretty clear how the people that are worst with COVID, they had the lowest amounts of vitamin D. And it didn't matter if they were young or middle-aged or sick or have, it's like an independent variable. So was I expecting that? Yes, I was. Because there's we know how vitamin D is a problem for many viruses to replicate. And why wouldn't that be true for COVID-19? Of course it is. What we don't have is, double-blind randomized control studies of using vitamin D as a drug. But
although we do have the randomized trials showing that vitamin D helps with other viruses.
Right.
So we've got a good, base case from which to recommend vitamin D.